Guys, the purpose of this video is to help you understand what you need to do in order to request data if you're going to be first author on a manuscript. So let's jump in. So we have put everything on Teams. Huge shout out to Serena for doing that for us. Dr. Rodriguez did a great job. If you are part of the writing team, then you should have access to a folder called CoLab Writing Group. And within that CoLab Writing Group is this general section. You click on general, you click on files, and after you click on files, you get a lot of useful documents, including the funding language, manuscript writing resources, examples of abstracts and posters. There's a lot of great information here that I encourage you to look at. But the thing that you want to pay attention to is CoLab Data Analysis Planning Form. And you want to open this form and complete it. I'm going to open the example form just so you have an example rather than the blank one, but know that the blank one is right there, and that's the one you would actually use. So here's an example. So in the example, you will put your draft title of your manuscript, you'll put your contact information, you'll tell us whether it's a manuscript or something else. If there are co-authors, you're going to list your co-authors there. Don't worry so much about author order at this time, but if you happen to know it, that's fine. You will use the author guidelines in determining authorship order. There are some standardizations that we have within our team that you'll need to be attentive to. And so, for example, if you are writing about a project on which someone is the PI is usually either second or last author, and you might ask them which spot they prefer. You'll list your target journal, so you need to have already identified a journal. If you have any reporting guidelines you're following, list those. You're going to then ask your research question. You'll list the aims of your analysis. If you have any background information to support your analysis, please list it there. If you don't, go do a literature review, put it in so that we at least know that you've thought through what you're contributing to the literature when you do the analysis. Then you're going to have your methods and results section. Or your methods and analysis section, excuse me. And so here you're going to list the data source. So if you're using Project Homes, you'll check that off. You'll tell us your study design. Most of you guys are doing an outcome or a cross-sectional analysis, but just tell us whatever it's going to be. And then you will describe your participant characteristics that you need, and you'll list all of the variables that you need as well. In listing the variables, while it's not listed here, it would be helpful to include the variable name from the codebook. And so for all of your data sets, you should be accessing the codebooks and making sure that you list the variable names. That will help the statistical team. So you'll fill in all of your information on this form, and then including all your variables and the information about it, and then you'll summarize your analytic plan. If you are relying on one of the statisticians to do your analysis for you, then you also need to submit Excel tables. And so the Excel tables look something like this. In our team, the way we typically present the first table, Table 1, Participant Characteristics, is our typical first table. I don't really like just having a table with just descriptives. Typically, that is a waste of a table. So I strongly recommend that you combine both your descriptive and your bivariates into your first table. So for example, here for the HIV paper, you can see we have the overall characteristics in the first column. Your explanatory variables are on the left. Your outcomes then become across the top with the p-values for each one. This will allow the statistician to then identify your bivariate analyses so that you have that complete. Then you will next, after you have your bivariate analyses done, then you will next go in, and your second table is usually going to be a regression table. In your regression table, you need to make sure that you indicate who the referent group is going to be. So for example, with race ethnicity, white is the common referent group. If you don't have a hegemonic or a research reason for selecting your referent group, then the rule of thumb is whichever group is largest. So for example, in this analysis, males, there were more males in our recovery residences than females, so males became the referent. You would submit these blank tables along with your form, and you will email that form and your blank tables to Steve Herrera. Steve will coordinate with the admin team, the faculty, to review your request. And once your request is approved, then Steve will coordinate with the statistics team to ensure that you receive the data request, or if you're requesting that they do analysis, that they receive the information to do your analysis. The expectation for Yi and Joulet, or whoever we add to our statistics team, is that they will give you those tables back. If your proposed analysis does not work and they have other alternatives that they think might be useful, they are at liberty to go ahead and run those additional analyses to save us time. They will present you back your tables that you requested, along with any additional tables of other ways of looking at the data that they did. Once you guys meet and agree on the final tables that you're going to present, then at that point, the expectation for Joulet, Yi, and again, whoever the other stats folks might be, is that they will write the measures and the data analysis subsections of the method section, and they will write the results section that corresponds with the tables. The way I typically make some decisions when I am setting up these tables is that when I am thinking about my descriptive table and bivariate table, if something is significant at less than 0.1, then I usually will throw it in the regression model. If it's not significant and less than 0.1, it's left out of the regression model. And things in the regression model need to be significant at less than 0.05, and they are bolded. Any significant values I bold. So that's how I usually indicate that information in my tables. If you have any questions about how to request data and how to work with the data team, please let a member of the faculty know. Thanks.